contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
Take two.
Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The arguments begin now.
Good evening, finally. Finally, hello. Am I echoing? No, I don't think I'm echoing. Doesn't look like I'm echoing. Does it sound like I'm echoing?
Can't hear you.
Okay, how about that?
There we go. All right.
Am I echoing?
No.
Good.
No, it's just you were like.
Oh, I know why I'm echoing. Hang on a second. There, I'll bet that's better. Except for
that's good.
I gotta put the screen back on here.
Yeah, before you were like the volume was like way low.
Well, I expected that. I had everything turned off.
Oh, okay.
I was getting ready to
tell me that.
I was getting ready to start
I couldn't
things.
have heard you if you told me.
I was getting ready to start things. Speaking of starting things, let's start arguing. I'm in a mood for a good argument. I even need to go to the argument clinic.
You've come to the right place.
Yeah, I know I have. Shite happens. So what's going on, Mr. Dale? Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
Same old, different day.
Talk to you? Nothing. Terrible thing.
I played hooky from work today.
What? You?
Well, I wasn't. Excuse me. Wasn't exactly feeling the best this morning.
My God.
And then the roads were crud.
My God.
And I was like, you know what?
You took off work? Yes. That's not a good Republican.
You know what? This good Republican.
That is like not a good Republican.
Watching other people that he works with take several days off, and then
that's not a good work attitude, Republican.
Half days because they don't feel like working whole days. Why? I'm the last one out of the building every single day because I'm in there handling my business. So you know what? Today I said, you know what? I probably could get in that four-wheel drive truck of mine, and I could drag my ass to work. But I'm going to drive through crappy roads it'd probably take me damn near an hour to get to work and probably an hour home instead of the normal half hour to go in there, work 2 or 3 hours and go home anyways. So I'm like, you know what? No. We weren't serving anybody today. There was no business. It was like clean up horse shit. I done scrubbed down half the kitchen. I did my part.
I don't blame you.
I said, F it. I'm taking the day off today. Kiss my ass.
I don't blame you at all.
You know,
but that's not the good Republican way, though. Republicans are supposed to make money, didn't they? Didn't Donald Trump ever tell you that?
Well, I got PTO. I'll make money.
Well, you didn't tell me about the PTO.
Well, come on. I work enough that I have vacation time and shit. Where the hell you think I'm going to go this year? Probably nowhere. So what else am I going to spend it on?
Yeah,
making up for the 2.5, maybe 3 hours that I missed today. Please.
Yeah, Not a big deal.
You know, fuck. Fuck them.
And not a big deal.
Everybody else screwing off. You know what? I'm going to take a day. I got management coming in, working an hour and a half and going home. And then I'm sitting there for another 2 hours scrubbing the kitchen down after they leave. And, you know, I'm the bad guy. That's why I didn't nobody give me no shit today when I said I wasn't
Oh, that's
coming
what
in.
I'm here for.
They were like, they said, oh, hey, I hope you feel better.
That's what I'm here
Well,
for.
guess what?
I'm here to
feel
give
better.
you shit. In a
I
good,
knew better.
in the good Republican way. I'm supposed to give you all the shit I can. That's right.
Oh, give me some shit in a good Republican way.
Oh, don't dare me. Anyway, let's get into some of this shit. I think the first thing that comes to mind is let's talk about the benefits of somebody like Elon Musk, who wasn't an elected official, becoming co-president. What do you think?
Well, first off, there is no such thing as a co-president, Mr. Democrat.
Oh, he
So,
seems to think there was. He was saying there was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Elon did anyway.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. That's what you heard on NPR?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got nothing.
Let's talk about the possibilities of that.
The possibilities are slim to none.
Well, he's still
Donald Trump sets up people in his cabinet, and he wants to hear from them. He wants to hear their opinions, and he wants to know what they think. But do you think it is much of, with all the horrible things you say about Donald Trump, the one good thing that you should say, ain't nobody gonna tell him what the fuck to do. Nobody. Nobody is gonna tell him what he's gonna do. He will take your opinion and he will take it into consideration and think about it. Maybe he likes it, maybe he doesn't. But you're not going to tell him what to do. And the sooner you figure that out, the sooner you will get this nonsense out your mind.
Well, I guess we're going to see in a couple of weeks how much nonsense it is and how much it isn't.
Yeah, when we see Elon Musk signing the bills and Elon Musk signing all the papers, then you can call him a co-president.
Then the question is, what is our good old good old buddy JD going to do if Don's got Elon as the co-president? What's our good old buddy JD Vance going to do?
Well, see, that's exactly the point. If there were anything remotely close to a co-president, it would be JD Vance, not Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk has done a lot of things. He's an intelligent man, as much as you may agree or disagree. To listen to what the man has to say is there's nothing wrong with that. You want the smartest, brightest people around you, and you want to listen to what they have to say. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump will decide what happens. There ain't nobody telling him what he's going to do. There ain't no co-president.
That may be
something in your twisted fucking head.
That may be partially right. I think the one part that kind of scares me about all of this is the man has contributed a lot of money to the Trump campaign. What was it, $1 million a day for for so long. The thing that really kind of scares me is Trump is so seems to let me rephrase that. He seems to be so into the fact that he's trying to get everybody that's going to agree with him in his cabinet, kind of like the yes men, that it's kind of scary when all you're doing is getting a bunch of Republican businessmen in your circle without any representation of the actual public that you're supposed to serve. Doesn't that bother you? Doesn't that worry you? It does me.
No, because I don't see it the same way that you see it. I see him looking at putting people in places that they have knowledge of, that they can help with, and give opinions. I don't see this as a throwback to, oh, Lord, you agreed with me, so now the man has come out and said, I don't want people necessarily that agree with me because I want to hear other points. I want to hear, different ideas. This is what I want to hear so that I can take the information I'm given and make an educated determination on what I need to do. It's not about just grabbing people because, they're going to agree with me. Well, no. He wants people, though, that he can trust that aren't going to backstab him, but not necessarily people that will agree with him. And that's the difference. He understands a lot more about politics now than he did 8 years ago. There's a big difference. He's been a politician now. Now he sees how these people work. And I believe that is what he's driving for.
But
now, once again, we'll see.
Yeah, that is the one thing we will see, and and the results of it is what, the proof's in the pudding, as they say. He does what you say he's going to do, then it will probably be all right. I don't see everything that he campaigned for happening, not even close. As far as the 5 million immigrants, I think that's going to get blown out the water, to be honest. Or are they going to come up with the money to deport all that kind of a...
I don't necessarily know about that, but I know he'll prevent a whole lot from coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you can take your 5 million there or your 5 million there, but either way, shit ain't going to go down like it was going before. Yeah. I mean, the front door is going to get closed.
It could be, and the other thing too, they're always worried about the southern border. What about the northern one? What about the two coastlines?
There is always been concern about the northern border because there have been people that we know of that have come in that way. But
the 9/11 people,
the largest amount of like your cartel members and this and that and all the other bad folks getting into the country that are raping and killing people, which you can see on the news, you've probably seen it. Somebody gets killed and all of a sudden they were here illegally, or they've been deported twice and they come into the country and they raped and killed this woman and shit like that. Much of it is coming in through the southern border. Much of it. So yes, the northern border is a question. And of course, the coastal borders are watched. Do you think that the United States Navy or the Air Force is going to let something get that close to the United States without there being a little boat out there going, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Now, mind you, nothing's perfect. So when occasional skips through, like these people on their little lifeboats from fucking Cuba and shit.
Like a submarine.
But, I mean, it's not perfect. Life isn't perfect.
Like a submarine going to Cuba.
I mean, so it's not going to be like it was. And it was doors wide open, come on in. I don't give a fuck who you are, come on in. Well, and that's what we've gone through.
There are points that I agree on with that, and there are points that I don't. The one that I do agree, or that kind of makes me wonder, even if you take out of a town, say of 20,000 people, if you take, and they say they've got an immigration population of maybe 1,000. And before that, you were having trouble filling those jobs. What's going to fill them? Who's gonna take the jobs that nobody else will take, that the immigrants are taking and wanting to take the money so that they can legally bring other family into the country and that pay their ways over and that. And that we had trouble with that back in the early part of the last Trump administration. What's going to happen with that now? You know for a fact that getting a decent employee nowadays is ridiculous. The people don't want to work. I don't know what COVID did. I don't know what the hell the whole situation did to this, but the people don't. Kids don't want to work.
I can tell you what it did.
Tell me.
All the money that your Biden administration.
Oh, no. Don't you start that crap either.
Oh, bullshit.
That money giveaway started in Trump.
Uh-huh. And it could have been stopped. When COVID kind of keeled back, people should have went back to work. And they didn't. Because that money continued, and it continued, and it continued, and it continued. So don't get me wrong. I'm one. Now, mind you, I work. But I benefited from that bullshit.
I did too.
A long time.
But the whole thing come down to...
And I made more money a half-ass not working than I would have if I was working full time. When you're a man that makes the hourly rate that I do, and you're getting $250, $300 from your employer, you're getting $250, $300 from unemployment, and then you're getting another $600 on top of that for a week's work every week.
Hell
yeah, I wrote that as long as I could.
They weren't the.
I'm like, you know what?
We weren't the only ones that were getting that either. We weren't the only ones. We weren't the only ones that were getting that. But I made more money than I would have if I would have been working my full-time job. We weren't the only ones that were getting that either. Businesses were getting that. Look at all those business loans and everything that they gave out that they didn't have to pay back. We talk about how bad COVID was, but monetarily it wasn't that bad. Monetarily, I think everybody did pretty well.
But the COVID thing got stretched on a lot further than it should have been. Because you and I both know things were opened up, things were working again, but yet still we're handing out this money.
And they did it for a year. They actually
They did it for too long.
They had everything closed for a year. All your restaurants.
I have a prime example right on the tip of my fucking tongue, but I'm not going to bring it up. Out of respect and politeness, I'm not going to bring it up. Okay. Of someone that was able to just continue and continue and continue and continue with this stuff when they were more than capable of working. I know more than one person.
So do I.
But, you know,
unfortunately, so do I.
I'm not here to, you know, talk about any individual or anything like that. So I just want to clear that off. But it's there. It went on longer than it should have. There were people reaping these benefits for a lot longer than they should have been able to. And that would have gotten people to go back to work quicker. Now, mind you, there was one good thing that came out of this whole COVID thing, is employers finally learned that, you know, $6 an hour, $7 an hour, $8 an hour, whatever the fuck it was, wasn't going to cover it anymore. And employers started to pay more money than they were before, because they realized that they wanted quality people, you know, in their operation, that it was going to cost them a decent wage. Now, that kind of fucked with small business a little bit, because they lived off that cheap labor, and in comes the flux of immigrants. Now, if an American doesn't want to take a fucking job, and an immigrant wants to take the fucking job, God bless them. Take the fucking job, make the money, do the job, be happy. I have no problem with that. My problem is making sure the people that you are letting into the country are good people that are just here for the American dream and want to work and want to try to better themselves and want to do things like that. But when you're just allowing convicted criminals and you're letting people come in to rape our women and kill our women and do things like that, then that's not the American way. That's not what we're here for.
I have to wonder.
No, you're a good person before you come into the country.
I have to wonder what percentage of illegal immigrants are actually criminals. I haven't seen any kind of studies or anything like that. Have you?
No, that's because your current government does not want you to know.
And
you know,
I think it goes further. I think it goes further than
Pyles,
the
you know, in there. We don't want you to know something, so we don't tell you.
Yeah.
We don't want you to know how many criminals are actually running around the fucking country right now because we let them through the fucking back door. That's what's going on.
I think to a point, some of them would get here if we.
There are probably many wonderful people that have come in, and I have no problem with that. But if we're not checking, we're not looking, and we're just letting people drag themselves across the water and not allowing the Border Patrol to do their jobs to, you know, detain these people and then properly vet people before they come into the country, that's the problem. People need to be vetted. Even way back when people were coming into Ellis Island.
Yeah.
You know, you remember The Godfather?
Yeah.
I mean, dude had to sit in a room for God knows how many weeks because they said he had some kind of disease before they would even release him into the country.
What?
Okay. They were vetting back then. Why are we not doing it now?
Did you ever see the
to get good people.
Did you ever see the movie Elmer Gantry?
No.
You should, if you ever see that, or if you can look it up on YouTube or something, you got to watch that movie. You talk about vetting and illegal immigration and stuff like that. You would see it in its rawest form. That movie was actually done, I think, back in the 50s. I think, I haven't seen this thing in probably 20 years myself. But I think that the one star of it was Orson Welles. And he played a guy that was helping a kid get into this country. The kid was sick and he wanted to come in for medical treatment. And he had to get by the border. And in order to get by the border, he had to have a sponsor come help him get in. It was a really good story as far as the immigration issues go. Like I said, I don't remember 100% about it, but I remember certain parts of it that were actually, when they actually tried to get through Ellis Island, I think he had to make 2 or 3 tries in order to get the kid through. One time he had a fever and was sweating and everything like that. They tried to pass it off as allergies, and the border didn't, or the immigration people didn't buy it, wouldn't let him in. There's probably I think he tried probably 2 or 3 different times to get this kid in. The reason I bring that up, though, is you want to talk about the vetting system and everything like that back then as opposed to what it is now. Nowadays, I don't think you're ever going to find out what a criminal record some of these people's got and some of them don't. If they're coming from Mexico or anything in South America or something like that, there's a pretty decent chance they might be drug dealers or some sort of a illegal runners or something like that. But what do you think? Once they get, do you think? I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. How do you think that? What do you think is going to happen, provided that they get more of the wall built? That wall is not going to get done overnight. I'm going to tell you that much. You're not going to see that thing built in the next.
So you got Biden now trying to sell the shit for, $5 on the whatever, trying to sell the shit so that, all that wall that he refused to put up that's been sitting there, he's trying to sell it off. So, Trump's got to spend more money to get more wall. I mean, but Texas has already come out and said, hey, we'll buy it. We'll buy it, and then it'll be there, and you'll have it. Because they want their border safe.
Yeah, that I'm not sure as far as what's going to happen as far as the wall goes, even over the next 4 years. I know when Trump was in office, he got 54 miles of it built. There's still about 1,500 more that need to go. And this is also the same Trump that's saying we're going to be on Mars in 4 years. And there again, that's another statement I'll believe when I see it. You think we're going to be on Mars in 4 years? I know.
Seeing how everything else has gone in history, I would say that would probably be incorrect, because you always have, with the new technology to be able to get there, which they have come a long way with technology. But You always have problems before you actually make it to your destination. I mean, how many rockets were sent to go to the fucking moon before we actually got one there? Now, mind you, it's a
8,
different time.
9,
No,
9.
it's a different time now. But as a gambling man,
Well,
to say a person will be on Mars in 4 years, I would think would be a little bit of a stretch.
yeah, I kind of,
It's a good goal, but I think would be a stretch.
I pretty much agree with you there. That the big the technology stuff is not where the issues are. The technology is the traveling safety. You have to take and you're going to encounter asteroids or not asteroids, little meteorites. You're going to, there's a lot of dust and crap in space that's traveling a little faster than what you are. And besides that, the sun's radiation and that when you're unprotected like that, that's where a large part of it's going to come from too. Until they get something developed that will keep the harmful stuff away from them, which is going to be developments in metal and everything, or in the space, whatever they're traveling in. There's going to be a lot depending on that. It's going to take probably 5 years or so in order for them to get enough stuff up there to get to the point where they can send it out there, have it land on Mars, and be able to sustain life when we get there. There's a lot to this stuff, and it's
Absolutely. And
when you brag and say, "Oh, we're going to be on Mars in 4 years because Elon said that," I think that's pretty far fetched.
I have to agree. I mean, we all have dreams, but if you look back in history, many of the things that have gone on, you can go back to an old TV show and see it in there, or an old movie, see it in there. I don't know if these are the things that give these people the ideas for what they do, but it keeps technology moving. So let's just, hey, you're an old Trekkie. I'm not a major Trekkie, but all that Star Trek bullshit with the what you call it, where they can
Transporter.
fly real fast.
Oh, warp drive.
Yeah, the warp drives and shit like that. I 100% believe that we will have that. It will happen. Now, in our lifetimes, not so sure. But the way technology is moving, I could see, it's like you buy something new today for your computer, it's obsolete tomorrow. Okay, they already got something new.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see it happening, but not at that quick of a rate. That is, if the Lord don't come back first and just put a kibosh on everything. I mean, so, you have that little tidbit in there.
Well, that's going to depend on what Donald Trump does the next 4 years.
Yeah, because he's probably the Antichrist, right? It's been said before.
Him and the 3 other horsemen are going to come in riding on fire.
Yes. Fucking 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
That's right. Don't forget that. Let's switch gears a little bit here. And let's get into something else we discussed over the little preview show.
The preview show.
Yeah,
The preview show that nobody got to preview.
that was on the phone. Your wife got to preview it. Ask her.
Yeah, or punk ass probably sleeping right now.
Yeah, more than likely. Let's talk about a certain explosion at a place in Vegas and a certain madman that drove through a certain New Orleans place.
I was down on Bourbon Street.
Yep.
I believe.
I think you and I came up with kind of similar ideas here. Heaven forbid.
It happens from time to time. I mean,
Well, I don't like it when it does.
sometimes, I
feel like I'm getting.
you don't need common sense. The shit's just right in front of you.
I feel like I'm getting a Republican attitude with that, and I don't need it.
No, it's an American attitude. It doesn't matter who's in office. It's
Anyway,
the
what we discussed was what aren't they telling us? I know I've heard a few things myself. I'm sure you have. I think the one thing that I heard was that both of these guys were on the same military base at one point or another in the recent past.
together at the same time, though.
Together, they don't know, quote unquote, together, but they were on basically at the same time.
Okay.
At least that's what the one thing that I read said. And this was from, I don't even remember what news source it was from. But if that was the case, why aren't they telling us?
For the same reason they won't tell us who killed JFK.
Yeah, that's true too.
You don't think they don't know? I mean, come on. You don't think they don't know how that went down? They may not know the exact person, but they know how that went down. There's a reason why shit.
Oh, they know. They knew the exact
and
person.
people don't talk, because if we actually knew half of the shit that we should know, holy hell would break loose in government, no matter who was in office.
You know,
It don't matter.
even when it comes to and I use this term scaredly, well, even when it comes to the supposedly alien life forms that are out there, and if they exist and if they don't. If you, what are you talking about, the dog or? Oh. If they know that aliens exist, if you watch some of the programs that I've watched in the past, there was supposed to be an alien ship that landed on the front yard of the White House and was there for a week before it took off and left and went to another place in the world and was there for a week. And this was back in what would have been Eisenhower's time. If they know that, then, don't you think they don't know who killed JFK?
Well, what I'm saying, I'm not totally. I won't 100% say that I believe there is alien life or Martians that are flying around and coming down and doing whatnot. But from what I see and what I know, I have no reason not to believe that there are. Now,
Yeah.
do I have proof myself that this exists? I've seen a sketchy thing in my time that made me kind of wonder. Um, but do I have any concrete proof either way? No. And if the government had concrete proof, I don't think they'd tell us because they're terrified of these people would want more information. And then these people would get scared out of their minds and they're worried about chaos.
Well, with some of it, I think, to me, I would say alien existence could be one of two things. It could be actually aliens, but it could be time travel too.
Well, I've also,
If you
yeah,
were,
I don't know if it's a really good uh doctored up picture, but I've seen shit like you remember the big old cell phones?
yeah,
All right, we got a black and white photo way, way, way back in the day. And then there's this crowd of people walking. It looks like they would be in like New York. It's that crowded and shit. And all of a sudden you see this person walking past with this big old phone in their fucking hand. And you're like, what? So that's either a really, really, really good doctored up photo, or perhaps there was a time traveler. Now, allegedly, this was taken with a normal camera back in the day. But with all the lying, how do you know what you can and what you cannot believe? Well, that's the problem. You don't know who and what you can believe. You don't when it comes to shit like this.
and it's not like this stuff just started. You have liars that have been in the government clear back into the JFK days and before. I mean, look at what happened with JFK. Look at what happened with
Well, yeah, but I mean,
look
like
at what
with your
happened with Nixon.
UFOs, I want you to give a little bit of credit. Now, of course, it's not like wide open, but Trump finally said, "Hey, we got to say there have been some things going on that ain't right, and we're going to tell you about these things that have gone on that aren't right." Now, did he actually come out and say that there are aliens, or we've met aliens, or we have a spaceship in Area 51, or anything like that? No, he didn't say that, but he made sure that we told the American people, hey, there's some shit out there that we can't account for, and we need to start asking ourselves questions. So I give him credit for at least kind of opening up the conversation a little bit as to what has actually gone on.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think looking at this from the sides that I do, as far as the alien stuff, it's either they actually do exist, and there has been proof way, way, way back in history. I mean, you guys went to, when you were in Mexico, you went to see the Mayan thing. That was supposed to be a space alien or an alien landing port. that those Mayan.
Well, it wasn't explained to us in that way.
Well, that's basically what they they don't know how exactly some of that was built, and it
Well,
had
they still don't know how the pyramids in Egypt were built.
exactly. That's another
And
point.
then now with that kind of stuff, you can start to go all the way back to not Edison, but his partner before they split up. Um, gosh, and I've watched a couple movies about him. Um,
Westinghouse.
no, 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 no.
That was he actually worked with
Uh,
him.
the come on, Dale. He was the one he got in the argument with about ACDC.
Well, it was Westinghouse.
No,
That was the
wasn't
one.
Westinghouse.
That was the one with the electric chair. Was it Tesla?
Think, I believe Nikolai Tesla. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
Nikolai Tesla. Yeah.
Yes. And that guy was talking about these pyramids that you see all over the world, and with the different experiments he did as being ports for kind of like what you're saying, ports for people to come down and time travel and different things like that. He did some wild, crazy experiments, and a lot of people still don't understand half the shit that he was doing, but the man was allegedly like a real genius when it came to stuff like that. I don't know. I just know what I've seen as far as like movies and writings and different things like that. I can't speak on it, but it's definitely something to think goes along the lines of what you're saying, because a lot of these types of things in the Mayan culture are not necessarily a pyramid like you would see in Egypt, but they are pyramids. They go up with the angles and the different things like that, and they're aimed so that there's like a window that when the moon hits the equinox, the light of the moon comes through that, or the light of the sun comes through that window onto something in the center. They were built the way they were built for a reason.
Yeah. Some of them were supposedly built. The tips of them were built to point to different constellations. The way I understood things too. I watch a lot of those kind of. The Ancient Aliens is probably one of my favorite. Not to give them a plug or anything, but that's probably one of my favorite programs to watch late at night or early in the morning. But anyway, getting back to what's the FBI not telling us? What do you think?
That's my question, because we got Girly Girl coming out with her nose ring on, which is totally against FBI protocol. You ain't allowed to be like wearing anything like that. Which you noticed her second video, she had taken it out, but so she up there. This is not a terrorist attack, even though allegedly the guy's got an ISIS flag on top of the fucking car or whatever when he was going through there. But hey, nothing to see here. It's just some Joe Schmo decided to blow some shit up. And then you got this thing at Trump's property happening at damn near the same damn time. But there's nothing terrorist going on here. Well, like I said, the government doesn't want to say that it was a terrorist attack because they don't want Trump to have the ammunition of saying we had no terrorist attacks when I was president, and now all of a sudden we have terrorist attacks. And what's the problem? Well, the problem are the people you're letting into the country, this, that, all the shit that's going on, whatever. The government, the FBI is crooked. They've been crooked. They've been weaponized going after different people and shit like that, trying to fuck up an election. We both know that. So why would I believe them now when they have shit that clearly looks like, and I guess actually there has been a point since then where we kind of backpedaled a little bit and kind of said that, well, we might think this might have some terrorist roots in it. So 6 of this, half a dozen of the other. I don't trust the FBI. I don't. Not under the current regime. I do not.
Well, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what.
I mean, you could have a airplane fly through the fucking Empire State Building, and they'd be like, "Oh, nothing to see here. This was an accidental thing." I know this plane was aiming right at the Empire State Building when it flew through there, but hey, no terrorists here. I mean, that's kind of what you're getting from your government.
Well, let's take this another idiotic step further. There was a certain shooting in Pennsylvania, and then there was almost one in Florida that was trying to do away with a certain candidate. And it was...
but yeah, and nobody saw nothing.
Now, mind you, they couldn't try to blame it on the Democrats. They couldn't blame it on the Republicans, kind of, sort of.
Sort of.
But they didn't want to blame it on the Republicans, but the one kid was the last thing he had done was said he signed up for the Republican Party. I'm not going to go.
No, that was something they found in his past.
I don't want to.
That was something they found in his past.
I don't want to go into the politics.
That wasn't a recent thing.
But the whole thing comes down to they didn't know what the hell he was.
The fact of the matter is, he was sitting on top of a building full of Secret Service agents when he shot at the fucking ex-president. And if the man hadn't have turned his head at the time he turned his head, he'd have got his head blown clean the fuck off his shoulders.
Well, I'm not debating that. What I'm debating is, could this have been another part of this conspiracy? Do you think there's going to be more here in after the next 2 weeks?
What?
Do you think that there might have been a conspiracy
they took 2 pop shots.
Could this have been somebody from, say, Iraq, or and it's one of the countries that really doesn't like him? That's something to think about.
It could.
You could blame it on that.
Shit could happen, and I pray to God it doesn't. But I mean, through his whole presidency, there better be a whole lot of folk watching his back, because there's a whole lot of people. I mean, like I said, like you. And I'm not saying you would do anything offensive like that, because you wouldn't. but there's a whole lot of people that just simply don't want him to be president, having nothing to do with what he can do, what he did, or anything else, simply because I just don't like you.
Yeah,
And
the funny part
there
about
could be some people out there with your same opinion that are jacked in the head that could attempt to do something bad. I mean, it's possible.
have you noticed that with him, it's either you love the guy or you hate the guy. There is doesn't
No,
it doesn't seem like there's no middle road there.
no. That's not it. Why do you think he got elected? We were discussing this earlier. It had a lot of people watching the last 4 years, and they're like, wait, when this guy was president, even though I didn't like the son of a bitch, these things were happening and these things were happening. Now all of a sudden, this guy's president, and these things are happening, and these things are happening. I would much rather have these things happening than those things happening. So you lost a lot of quote unquote fan base of people that are like, you know what? I don't like the motherfucker, but I can't say that what he was doing hurt the country. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take one for the team and I'm going to vote for it. That's how his votes went up. He gained Democrats that were tired of what's going on.
Do you think there was any cheating?
There's always cheating. It just matters to what degree. I'd have to see how things worked out. But when I told you about the 2020 thing, if you looked across, it was like 6 elections. The amount of Democratic votes were like in a perfect line, almost, give or take a tiny bit. And then all of a sudden in 2020, they went through the roof. And then you saw all that sketchy bullshit going on with these extra bags getting dropped off. And like I said, you got bags of votes. And every single one are for the same person. I mean, come on.
You can't tell me that didn't happen here either, Dale.
What are the chances?
You can't tell me that didn't happen here.
Actually, even Trump himself has said that Ohio has some of the best election stuff than any other state. That our shit is fairly tight. No, I'm not saying it's perfectly tight. There is always going to be bullshit going on.
Oh, I agree with that.
It's like
that's the first thing you said tonight. I agree with
X amount of votes, but all of a sudden, when you normally have, this many fuck ups, and then all of a sudden it turns into this many that gets somebody elected. No, I mean, it's time to question things. There's always going to be some bullshit going on. But when it's enough to change an election, you need to ask yourself these questions. You don't honestly, in your own fucking mind, think that fucking guy actually won that election. Truly won that election. Because you know what? If he would have won that election, or if he would have lost that election and Trump would have won, guess what? We wouldn't be having this conversation right now because Trump wouldn't be president January 20th this year because he'd be done. It'd be his 8 and out. And instead, you suffered for 4 fucking years.
I wouldn't call it suffering.
Bullshit.
Trump, the last 2 years sucked. The last 2 years he was in there, he sucked. And you know it too. It was during COVID.
I was doing a hell of a lot better off than I am
bullshit was
now.
going on, and he sucked. That's why the Democrats won.
No.
Yeah, whatever.
No. I do not agree. I will not agree. I personally believe
I'll give you the
that
first.
there were some nefarious things going on
the first 2
during
years.
that election.
The first 2 years
And
he was in
that's
there. The first 2 years he was in there, he was all right.
why.
And you're not listening to me again. The first 2 years he was in
I've heard
there,
it all
he
before.
did all right. He was bringing back jobs. He brought back some auto worker jobs and stuff like that, which actually stopped after the first 2 years. And all of a sudden, things started declining. Now, you can't tell me that they didn't. You had COVID going on. You had a president going around telling everybody they should go get injected with bleach and some other bullshit that was going on.
Oh, come on.
He was taking stuff that was not even close to being proved that it would affect COVID, let alone anything else. And then it was a whole different world. 2 years, it took him 2 years, and it all switched around. That's why I voted Democrat that year.
Oh, it all switched. That's why you voted Democrat. You ever voted Republican in your whole fucking life?
Yes, I have. Actually, yes, I have.
Oh, when you were like 18?
I voted
You did
for Reagan. True
Oh,
fact.
you actually admitted that.
I voted for Reagan, yes.
You voted for Ronald Reagan.
Yep, I liked him.
God bless you.
Especially after the first 4 years of him
But
sucked.
then that was after Jimmy Carter.
The first 4 years of him sucked. But what happened was he was changing the economy, and the economy went from what it was to trickle down, which was his own idea. The trickle down put everybody out of work for the first 2 years until it started working. And once it started working, then there was a chicken in every pot, like the one president used to say. And, it wasn't bad after that. And that's when, like I said, I voted for him. Would I do it again if that was the situation? Yeah. I don't vote for a particular party ever. If I don't like something, then I vote the straight Democratic line. I'll be the first to admit that. But if there's things that I don't like and things that I do, I'll take and do it. What's that? You celebrating or what? I actually admitted I voted Republican.
No, that's me laughing at you without doing it out loud. Because you actually, you admitted me you voted for Ronald Reagan, but you ain't voted for a Republican since then.
Nope.
I'll guarantee that.
I voted for who I liked.
I mean,
and there wasn't anybody. I'll tell you, the one election I didn't like either Bush. I thought they were out to destroy the company, and all they were out for was
company.
They were out looking to. The only thing that they were in favor of was Halliburton, and I thought both of them were that way, and the junior Bush ended up ruining the economy by the time he got out. And as far as I voted for Bill Clinton because he could talk. I voted for Obama because he was a good talker, and he was right.
Obama was he's an eloquent speaker.
He made a very good. He made himself on your level, and he was a hell of a speaker. I still like him and Michelle both. As far as Jimmy Carter, I had to think about that one.
He's no longer going to go down as the worst president in U.S. history because we got a new one now.
Carter was as far as he was concerned, he was mediocre at best president. He had a lot of issues when he got in there. It was right after Nixon, and the Ford mess and all that crap. And when he came out in Georgia, he was a common man. That's why everybody voted for him. Hell, I remember Billy Beer. Remember Billy Beer, his brother?
No.
He had a brother by the name of Billy, and everybody.
I don't remember that because the only time I actually started paying attention, I will say my very first time to vote, I voted for Ronnie Reagan.
Yeah.
That was when I turned 18.
Ooh, look at you.
Oh, yeah, you're old, motherfucker.
Look at this. I got handed a McDonald's sundae. Woohoo.
Oh, damn.
Damn, and I didn't even ask for it.
Well, if somebody
Thank
didn't
you.
want to eat the eggs that was made for dinner?
Thank you. Well, I ate the eggs.
No, I mean somebody else.
I guess not.
They decided they didn't want that. They went and got some McDonald's.
But
That's better than the eggs.
But as far as
Mmm.
the first time I voted would have been 70.
Cleopatra?
Would have been 74, so that would have been. The election was in 76, I think. And that would have. I turned 18 in 73. So that would have been the 76 election. I'm trying to think who the hell ran. Was it Nixon?
Uh-oh.
No, it wasn't Nixon. Come to think, maybe it was. I'm trying to remember when he actually left office. That would have had to have been around 73, 74. And when he left, I think it was it Gerald Ford? Gerald Ford was a klutz.
Now, answer me this. Nixon, correct, was a Democrat?
Nixon was Republican, though.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because I was wondering about that. Because for some reason, I thought he was a Democrat.
No, he was Republican.
But my grandmother always told me that, you know what? He did the same darn stuff that everybody else does. He just got caught. And I'd vote for him again. And I always wondered. I thought she actually voted for a Democrat.
And
But no, he was a Republican.
And that's where all the
Okay.
that's where all this started, Dale. That's where
I ain't gonna lie to you.
That's where it all started.
It's kind of where it all started. I
That's when
started.
That's back when people
I
quit.
used to talk politics with my grandmother, and as I got old enough to make my own decisions and look at my belief system and different things, I tended to fall in line with that. One thing I will tell you, yes, when it comes to president, every single time I have voted for a Republican president. Have I voted for Democrats for state and local and different things like that? Absolutely.
Would you vote for DeWine again?
Huh?
Would you vote for DeWine again?
Absolutely not. And I didn't. Wait, he wasn't even up for a vote. But no, fuck him.
That's the way I look at it too. I don't like him.
I mean, he's done some good things for the state, but he's done some horrible ass things for the state. So I don't. If a better candidate came up against him, I would probably move in that direction. But if it were, it has. Sometimes it comes to the lesser of two evils. I mean, that's the way it is, and that's the way people look at things. It's you have your liberal views, I have my conservative views, and I'm looking for people that kind to come in line with the views that I have, and that's the person I'm going to vote for. And that's what you do. You're a lot more liberal than I am.
I remember when
You actually disagree with a lot of your liberalism, but will still vote liberal because you can't. You just can't you can't get yourself to vote conservatively.
Because I've never really been a conservative person.
Oh, but you talk to you have a lot of conservative views. You have very many.
It's like I've told you 100 times before. I ride I ride down the fence. I'm in the middle of both of them.
I don't feel that way.
I
feel that's your excuse you give.
I look at myself.
That's not how you roll.
And
I mean, to tell me you didn't vote for Donald Trump simply because I don't like him.
I don't like him. I think he's a criminal. He doesn't.
He
doesn't deserve the office.
What he did for the country. You weren't.
He's a criminal.
At that. You already had that liberalism.
If Al Capone would have given everybody in the world $1 million, would you have voted for him? Damn right you would have. I would not have, because I felt what he did was wrong. I felt what Donald Trump did at the end of his at the end of his term was wrong. Period.
But you already hated him before he ever got that.
Not necessarily.
So you can't even say that.
I said the first couple of years, he did okay.
Did you vote for him?
I wouldn't have. No.
The first time, did you vote for him?
Because I didn't like him.
Did you vote for him?
Nope.
Why?
Why? I didn't like him.
You just said it because you didn't like him.
Because he was.
So you already didn't like him.
He was a Republican businessman, and I thought he was.
So your decision was made.
He was a Republican.
Had nothing to do with how the country was running. You already didn't like him.
You're not listening to me.
That's simple. That's simple. It's called spade a spade. Admit you don't like him. And
I don't like him.
It don't matter.
I don't like him. It don't matter.
You'll still never like him.
Oh, no. If he comes in and gives me a bunch of money and makes gas $1 a gallon, and
guess what?
What all he's promised?
Bill Clinton was fucking around on his wife.
And Trump wasn't.
NAFTA.
Oh, and Trump wasn't.
He did that. He did whatever else.
And Trump wasn't.
And I mean, the outcome of NAFTA was bad. But at the time, and I did not vote for him.
And Trump wasn't.
At the time, Clinton was
Trump wasn't screwing around on his wife.
I will tell you that was. I'm not saying that.
You just did.
That during the 4 years that Clinton was in office, I could say, because NAFTA hadn't caught up yet, but I was fairly prosperous in my life. And I have actually sat back and said, oh, Billy Clinton wasn't that bad of a president. NAFTA was a bad fucking idea, but he wasn't that bad of a president. Okay,
he wasn't that bad.
You got a blowjob in the Oval Office. You know what? If I could get a blowjob in the Oval Office, I'd get 2 or 3 of them. Okay, because how many people can say they did that? All right. So here I am giving a Democrat credit. Here I'm saying he was not that bad. But you can't do that. You refuse to do that. You can't say the 4 years before Biden were better than the 4 years you just lived
I didn't think they were.
You cannot say that.
I think it was a trade-off, the first 2 years and the second 2 years.
You refuse to say it.
The second 2 years, he sucked. First 2 years was all right. I lived all right.
He walked into a new fucking disease.
Well,
Well,
the other presidents walked into
he doesn't get any
economies
credit
that
for
stunk.
you give him absolutely no credit for COVID time. None. You don't think that he did anything correct during COVID.
I didn't say that he didn't do anything correct. I just,
All right, I mean, come on.
I just think the
You're
majority,
reaching
the majority
for finding
has
a way that he's a horrible president.
the
I don't
majority of
give a
his
fuck if
actions.
you like him.
The majority of his actions just did not fit what I thought should be a president.
Oh, so what's a president in your eyes?
A president is somebody that is more out for the country than himself. And
Really?
Donald Trump's
Okay.
not.
And the country wasn't better off
The
than it is now.
I don't think so.
You don't. Oh, man. Wow. Take the fucking blinders off.
Yeah, you too. That's why I love you, Dale. That's why I love you, buddy. As we can
You love to
probably
hate me?
as we can probably anybody that's listening to this show or has in the past, we argue. Hell, we almost argued at the Christmas table.
I know Dana Flora wouldn't let us. He's trying.
They kept trying to separate us.
Flora put the kibosh on that shit.
Kept
Like, oh hell no.
Not happening. Nope.
It's Christmas.
It's
Shut the
Christmas.
fuck up, boys.
Get your ass out in the living room where you belong.
No, actually, I wasn't at the table.
Yeah,
Remember, I was sicker than a damn
actually,
dog.
that's what was true.
I'll come roll it out
And,
later.
and I respect you for that, because heaven forbid I should catch anything.
Oh, no. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was up late playing video games and talking to this. I got a young man I've been kind of mentoring a little bit, guy from work. And we were up late talking. And of course, when I'm talking and doing stuff like that, I'm putting down a couple of beers. And I crossed my threshold. And I was hurting the next day. And plus, I got this upper respiratory thing going on, so that kind of added to it. But
I respect you for that.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to be choking at the dinner table or nothing. I wanted to come down, but I just
What the hell did you guys?
my body wasn't doing it.
When we were getting ready to leave, and I walked out in the dining room or the kitchen there. What the hell did you guys look so guilty about? You and Frank were both standing there looking guilty as sin. I don't know who said what or what. I walked out there and I thought, man, what did I walk into? Anyway.
I don't remember what the hell we were talking about. We were talking about a lot of bullshit.
Anyway, why don't we wrap this up?
I got one thing for you before we wrap it up.
Okay. All right, I'm here.
Because we started to have a little bit of a discussion on our own about January 6th and stuff like that. So what I need you to do is, I might have to, I think I'm going to have to. Hold on, you got to give me a half a minute. All right, because I think I done lost my battery. My mouse just croaked.
If your mouse croaks, does that make it a frog?
I don't know. It's a mouse. I don't know how a mouse turns into a frog.
If it croaks, it's a frog.
Okay, look, we're back. All right, you got to tell me how to share my screen again.
All right, let me give you permission here first. It'll take me a second. Let's see, I gotta take and go there. I gotta make you a co-host, I think. Yes.
Because I got something just for you, and I want all the viewers to see you viewing it.
Go ahead.
All right. So what do I have to do to share?
You should be able to click on share screen.
Okay. Share screen.
And then you'll be able to pick the thing that you want to share.
Share.
I see it.
All right, we're gonna go to.
Oh, nice motorcycle.
Oh, where is it? Uh-oh.
Nice bike.
Oh. There we go. This one's the best one. It'll work, I think. Okay, I want to share that.
Scott McFarland's here with us. Scott, good morning to you. Tony, it's quite something. Nancy Pelosi is heard talking about the prompt impeachment of Donald Trump and saying he must pay a price for January 6th. And at one point in the video, she's heard calling him a domestic enemy in the White House and encouraging the invocation of the 25th Amendment to remove him. She's also heard blasting some of the Capitol security officials who'd be out of their jobs hours after the January 6th attack. But all of this puts in context what the House January 6th Select Committee found 2 years ago, that it was Trump who waited 3 hours before urging his...
That's not the video. That's not the video.
Oh, funny how this works.
Where the fuck did it go? You got to be kidding me. See if it pops back up. That was her talking shit later. That is hilarious. The video I had queued up is absolutely freaking gone now.
They knew you were going to use it.
Huh?
They knew you were going to use it, so they shut it off.
Well, I can give you this one. This one's good enough.
Okay, pull up the clip from Nancy Pelosi. Pull up the clip from Nancy Pelosi. Watch this. This is her, by the way. Pause it. So let's preface what this is, Vinny.
Her daughter is in the back seat recording all this. And mind you, there's been speculation, like she had two conversations, two of the same exact conversation. They recorded it. This is all supposed to be like a documentary from her daughter recording, but little did they know that she admits something here at the end of this.
Oopsie.
Oopsie.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of a thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
That's a good question.
No, there's not a question about anybody. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepared.
I see where you're misconstruing quite a bit there.
Oh, wait, you want to show this one?
Yeah.
Let's show this one.
This is her.
Hold on a minute. I gotta.
Is that what?
Okay, go ahead.
You're misconstruing from what my take on that was that she should have known that the National Guard should have been there, and she didn't have them there. Because they knew that riot was going to, or that he was going to get those people together long before that actually happened. He actually knew. I mean, on the personal side of this, I had friends that were hearing rumors of this. Remember that Stephanie that I used to have on here? She came in one evening right after Christmas telling about what she heard was going to happen on January 6th. Excuse me. And so they knew this was right shortly after Christmas when she come in here ranting about that. So they knew that they knew something was going to be up. They knew he was calling people in from out of town and everything else. And there should have been there should have been a National Guard.
He was calling people in from out of town.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Prove it. Prove it.
I will in the next show because I can find the clip. I can find the clips of it. But like I said, he knew they may not have known what the extent of it was going to be. But when you plan something like that, you're talking, even with a large venue like that, security in large venue is kind of similar to having a tornado drop down or a tornado in the area of a large event. You're not sure.
You got to give me that.
What's that?
Oh, shit. I said you got to give me a half second.
All right. Do 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 do. Let me entertain you a little bit, folks. Let's see, what else we got to play for you tonight? Let's go maybe here. I don't know if I want to do that. How about some Ohio State marching band? Let's see, what else? I can play one of Dale's favorite songs. If I can find it. Give me a minute. Let's see.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Pittsburgh! Pittsburgh sucks! Pittsburgh sucks! Pittsburgh sucks! Pittsburgh sucks! Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
We'll give it another minute, Dale. Hate to keep these people waiting. I can only be so much entertainment when I want to be. Hey, Flora, you want to talk? Oh, let's see. What else are we going to do? How about some replay here? Let's see what this does. The heck is a replay buffer? Are you getting close, Dale? Well, folks, this is a first. Gotta go to the can, man.
Oh. Woo. I'm coming.
Everything come out all right?
Oh, my Lord. Old man bladder strikes. I thought it was, because I got to where I had to pee and I couldn't wait no longer.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect it to be a 27-minute pee. But, yeah, that's what I received.
All right.
Anyway.
As I was saying, I'm going to make one point, and we should probably wrap this up because we're getting at an hour and 34 minutes now.
Oh, shit. Imagine that.
When you do, say you are in a football stadium, big football stadium, 80,000 people, Ohio State, and you get weather, you get a weather warning within a couple of miles of you. And this thing what this is saying is it could create, there's been a funnel cloud spotted. You don't know what's going to happen with it. It could be big, it could be nothing at all. Okay, that thing gets over top of your stadium and it sucks about half of the people out of it. Now I'm over dramatizing this, of course. You are under what they call a large venue warning. I've actually worked with some people on stuff like this before. What that is you are supposed to be prepared for that to happen, because you've got 100,000 people in an area, you've got a lot of stuff going on around you. You don't know how bad it could be. You don't know how good it's going to be. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. Okay, saying all that, as far as Pelosi and the people in that Capitol building, they're under the same scenario. What that storm was building was those people outside that were getting ready to riot. The National Guard and the Capitol Police should have been aware of that. They should have been alert enough that they took precautions to keep that stuff from happening, and they didn't do it. And that's what she was taking responsibility for. It wasn't the fact that she talked to him and asked him to call or not to call. At least that's what I took from that.
Well, I don't have video of that, but allegedly they were offered National Guard troops.
But the thing of it is, it was her job to make that. It was her job to make sure they were aware and prepared for that, and she didn't do it. And that's what she was.
Didn't do it.
And that's what she was taking.
That's right.
She was taking the blame for that.
What happened should not have happened. Listen, there was a peaceful crowd that went down there that had some bad actors in the peaceful crowd who caused the problems that happened. I'm not saying these people that were busting out windows and doing this and doing that they are not guilty of something. There were some bad players. Now, still the question is, were some of those, BLM people that decided to try to make him, try to make this out to be more? Were it, extremist groups trying to start something that didn't need to happen? But the 99.9% majority of the people that went down there went down to peacefully protest, as the president at the time said, make your voices heard, peacefully protest. There was never any call for violence or anything. You had bad actors in the crowd. And
when you're dealing with
things happen. And they knew bad things could happen, and they didn't prepare for it, but yet they tried to call this such an insurrection. I mean, come
what else
on.
do you call it?
And you want to blame it on Donald Trump? Maybe it was an insurrection. You can call it insurrection if you want, but I don't believe that you can blame it on Donald Trump. You've all heard his speech. He said, peacefully protest.
Peacefully
and we're
protest.
Allowed to do that.
I'm gonna take and call the Hell's Angels in, the Proud Boys or whatever the hell they were, that felt like I represented them, and to a point I did, and I'm gonna say, hey, do a peaceful protest. You know damn well they're gonna get down there and rip hell out of everything. He knew that. And then he sits in his cafeteria going, nobody's called me yet. They're tearing down the Capitol.
What did you expect him to do?
Take action to stop it. Because he started it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he
Allegedly, they already knew it was going to happen.
They knew it was going to happen because they knew he was calling it all in.
Something they already knew was going to happen.
He knew he was responsible for calling half of that stuff in, if not all of it.
Bullshit. And you're talking about this fucking phone calls and all this bullshit. Show me him making phone calls, calling in all these people. I want to see it. Because you're talking shit.
I'm not. He was responsible, or his aides or whatever were responsible for making that happen. And you know damn well he was friends with the Proud Boys anyway. I don't hear you denying that one. And the Proud Boys were the ones.
I don't know that.
The Proud Boys.
I can't deny it, nor can I confirm.
The Proud Boys were the biggest part of the problem there. If they wouldn't have been there, that some of that, if not all of it, might not have happened.
That's the ones that the government went after.
Yeah, and
now there were.
And those are the ones that he's going to go in and say.
There's a couple people in jail that I believe probably should be there.
And he's going to
now
go
I-
in.
I'm
He
quite
has
sure
said
the
when he
sentence
gets in
is
office,
correct.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to pardon everybody from January 6th. I'm going to pardon them all.
No, that's not what he said.
For the most part. He said that
No, that's not what he said.
when all this
Not for the most part.
when all
that's
the
not what
when
he
all
said.
this pardoning was going on,
If
which
they did wrong and they deserve to be in jail, he will leave them in jail.
I don't think
These
so.
people that they've
I
had
don't think
locked
so.
up
We will see
for
in 2
months
weeks.
and years.
We will see in two
and still
weeks
really
from tonight.
haven't fucking charged. Yeah, they're gonna go free.
We're going to see 2 weeks from tonight what he
Yeah,
does, and
okay.
I would put money that he's going to put a blanket pardon out. As well as I'll put money on. You want to know another side of the coin that I see coming? I see that
What?
whole Republican that committee that January 6th committee. I see every one of them getting a blanket pardon. Tell me I'm wrong. I see it, and that's
January 6th committee.
yeah. What's her name? McCain.
Oh, what the fucking Democrats?
No, the Democrats and Republicans both. He's got Biden's.
Yeah, the guys that started the bullshit.
Biden's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
Biden's
I mean,
gonna go
hell,
pardon
he
them all.
already pardoned these. He already pardoned these fucking
Well, why
sons.
not? Why
He's
not?
been
Trump's gonna
proven
get in there and pardon
so
everybody
fucking
too.
Guilty.
Trump's gonna get in there
I
and have a
mean-
pardon party too.
And you know why? You know why Hunter got fucking pardoned? Because because if they didn't pardon him,
They were gonna
all
come
the
after him.
implications to fall back on Daddy are gonna come back out.
They were gonna
And
go
nobody,
after him.
Nothing to see here. Walk on. Nothing to see here.
They were gonna go after
That's
him.
why he
And
got
I knew
pardoned.
that.
You know, I mean, hey, government 101. I don't say I agree with every aspect of it.
I don't either.
You know, I mean, our founding fathers are rolling around in their fucking graves
You got that
as we
right.
speak.
You got that right.
I mean, this, you know, they had the checks and balances for a reason, but those checks and balances are no longer checks and balances. They're,
The checks,
you know, good against evil.
the checks are bouncing.
Whatever. I mean, it's not what they intended. Not at all. And it's been bastardized over the years. And, you know, when you have senators or, you know, congressmen coming in, they're making $150,000 a year, and they get into fucking Congress somehow, and then 4 years later, 2 years later, whatever, they're fucking millionaires on the salary that they make. You know,
Boy, there are some
corrupt.
things you're
All
naive about.
Republican, Democrat, everybody. I'm not.
They
that's
all do
of
that.
them. That's all of them.
Show me one.
You know,
show me one
I mean-
senator. Show me one congressman that isn't a millionaire and didn't become one by getting into office like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Show me
That is
one.
not what our founding fathers were looking for. That's not the representation they were looking for. It's not about representation anymore. It's
Yeah.
about who can give me what.
Yep.
That's who I'm going to represent. Who can
Exactly.
give me what? Who can put more money in my pocket? And it's on both sides.
Oh, I know that.
So government as a whole has been bastardized. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, yes, I still have to, you know, make my choices, the lesser of the two evils. You know, I have a conservative view, so I tend to vote conservatively. But it doesn't mean I agree with, you know, what is happening. I mean,
And there you have you're starting to
it's
get
not
my
right.
attitude.
You know,
You're starting to.
well, I've had it.
You're starting to
But
develop my attitude.
what do we do about it? What do we do about it?
Talk about it on shows like this, and
We're going to have a January 6th riot, and then we can get in trouble too? I mean, come on. No, we can't do that.
Talk about it on shows like this and hope something comes from it.
What? Well, what's going to come from it?
Well,
somebody's going to change their vote.
We might get
so
somebody.
that the next
We might get somebody thinking
and becomes a millionaire.
We might get somebody thinking, well, maybe they're.
Here's a problem.
Maybe they're right. Maybe that is
these
wrong.
The same people that are making millionaires out of themselves are the same people that need to change the rules. Now, do you think they're going to change the fucking rules?
Oh, no way.
So where are we at? We're at a fucking stalemate. I mean, what do we do as Americans? We fucking deal with it and, you know,
hope for the best and expect the worst
with the knowledge that we have.
Hope for the best and expect the worst.
Different, I guess.
Hope for the best and expect the worst.
Well, I agree. I always expect the worst. That way, if a good thing happens, then I'm happy. If a bad thing happens, then I'm like, well, I expected fucking anyway.
Well, that fucked up like I thought it would. That got fucked up like I thought it would.
It's pretty much.
I know the attitude. Anyway, let's wrap this thing up for the night.
All right.
And that way we can move it on, as they say. Coming up next on our little radio station here is the Four Guys on Sports. That'll be on Saturday morning. We're coming back with a vengeance because we got Ohio State Buckeyes to talk about. We got the Browns' supposed mix-up or firings to talk about. We got the Deshaun Watson debacle to talk about. We got one thing I want to talk about is the Dallas game with the cheerleader getting bunked in the head with a football. Did you see that, Dale?
No, I did not. I didn't watch no football. Well, other than the Steelers game, I didn't watch any other football.
I don't remember who they were playing, but there was a kickoff, and the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders were on the sideline, and they were facing away from the field. And they did the kickoff, and nobody was really watching. Well, the kickoff ends up going out of bounds, and it was like the kickoff was targeted right for this woman's head, and it bumped her. It bumped her right in the back of the head. It's a wonder it didn't give her a concussion. Knocked her down.
I mean, it was like it hit the ground and then bounced straight
it went right at her. It bumped her in the head from the air.
Oh, it came straight down,
yeah, straight
out of the
down
air
and bumped her.
Oh, damn!
And she bent over and they asked her if she was okay. She said, "Oh, I'm okay." From what I understood, they concussion tested her and everything and apologized all over. She said, "Oh, it's just the way it happens." Bunk.
Imagine if it must have hit her flat instead of. Can you imagine if that straight up come down and the point of the football would have smacked her in the back of the fucking head? Woo! Holy shit!
She would have seen stars.
Oh damn!
She would have seen
more.
more.
You would have seen more than stars. You wouldn't be seeing shit, but the fucking grass on the ground, because she'd have dropped like a fucking lead weight.
That's pretty much what happened.
I mean, them balls go up high.
She hit the ground. You know, she went down on her knees, and her head went almost to the ground. But I want to talk about that Saturday morning. I'm going to see if I can find that clip.
Balls to the head.
And, well,
Balls to the head. Kind of like balls to the nose, but from the other direction.
that's about it.
Imagine if she'd have been turned around. We'd be talking about balls to the nose.
Well, we won't go there
Damn.
because this is a family show.
Yes.
All right, we will
Yes.
see everybody next week.
Bring your children around.
We do have Radioactive coming up next week for the second week in a row. We're back from hiatus. Should be a lot of fun. If you missed last night's What a Riot, we talked about some personal experiences I had over the weekend before. Lots of fun. And a pain in my
I don't
butt.
know about that.
It was a pain
But
in
you'll
my.
have to tune into the show to find out.
I was walking
how much
around
fun we
butthurt.
had.
I was walking around butthurt over that.
So y'all better tune in
But,
and check the last show, so you can find out.
Yep. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up for the night. We will see everybody from here in 2 weeks. Oh, I did forget one thing. Nanosecond is going to air Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We're going to take and do a Brown or a football special. We're going to talk about some OSU stuff. The OSU game coming up this Friday against the Texas. Against Texas. That's going to be an interesting, probably one of the more interesting things next weekend, because you got Penn State playing Notre Dame. The winner of that game goes to and plays the winner of Ohio State and Texas. And I'm kind of hoping, I'm not going to predict anything, but I would love to see Ohio State get that far. If they can get clear into that game, they can beat Penn State. So we'll see. But
most people I've heard from, whether it be radio or college fans at work, are expecting an OSU Notre Dame game.
You think?
In the national championship, and expecting Notre Dame to possibly beat Ohio State. This is what I've been hearing. I know nothing.
I'm not so sure.
I don't follow college football.
Notre Dame is really not that. They're not good enough to be in the position that they're in. And for them to take and come from where they did and end up playing Penn State, well, we'll see what happens this weekend. But stay tuned for that.
That's just what I don't know nothing from Adam. This is just what I've been hearing from folk around me.
We're going to take and talk about the nanosecond. We're going to talk some Browns. We're going to have Barry Shuck from the one of the friends of the show. He's a Browns reporter and a Browns writer. There's also we also are trying to get Tyler Danberg or somebody's. There's one other person that we're going to try to get for next Monday's show, which will be after the Ohio State game. So we figured we'd do an Ohio State wrap-up on that one. But anyway, should be an interesting week. We will see everybody on this show 2 weeks from tonight. And y'all have a blessed and wonderful evening. Thanks for tuning in with us. And we'll...
Night.
And we'll, I got to find it. And we'll see ya.
That's what she said.
I'll be on in a minute. If you want to hang. You want to hang a minute?